Hello, lovely peeps, and welcome to my first speed build video. And if I already do have a speed build video, then it's been a very long time. So welcome back. My name is Alepsy, and today we're going to be building a castle. It is based off of the Brave Castle. So it's Castle Dunbroch, which is actually based off of two real castles. I can't pronounce their names, but they're somewhere in Scotland and they're beautiful. But this castle is going to be based off of the Disney version. And then I did create like a little bit of a lower village, which was just kind of my own little spin on it, I guess. This is my first speed build video in a very long time. If I even do have any, I don't even know. So please give me some grace. We're trying here. I have recorded this and deleted and recorded and deleted. Just like in this first build, I built and deleted and built and deleted. One, it was perfect. I used round buildings, and then the inside became a travesty. So I had to start all over. So when I started all over, I started landscaping, and I wanted to make sure I got the castle in the position I was wanting. And then as you see here, I start building out from the castle. So I got the height I wanted because I wanted the cliff effect, which we do add rocks at the end of the video, which will give it the cliff effect, at least in my mind. And this is kind of like the ramp that is going to lead down to the lower village area. And I do refine this quite a bit. I haven't played The Sims in like a year, so it took me some time to figure out the terrain tools, but muscle memory is a thing. And it was kind of crazy how like I automatically was using the keys, and I was like, oh, all right, okay. So again, just refining the shape. This bridge that you see does change out. Unfortunately, it didn't work with my Sims. You couldn't cross it. It is a debug bridge, I believe, from the cottage living world. All of these plants and stuff come from the cottage living world as well. I wanted it to match the surrounding area as well as the rocks later on in the video. I do a lot of landscaping, but it's kind of interesting to watch. I'm not very good at it, but I try real hard. Also, I must put a disclaimer. Because this is for my medieval or my ultimate decades challenge where we're starting in the 1300s. I am using a lot of CC. However, I have been inspired by a lot of people who aren't using CC. But the thing is I don't own all the packs. So once I get more packs, I used to own all the packs, but I've dropped off. So once I own a good majority of the packs again, I'll probably come back in and rework it. But I wasn't planning on putting this up on the gallery, so if you are interested, just put down in the comments below that you're interested, and if enough people are interested, I'll throw it up on the gallery. Here I am working in the gatehouse area, or at least attempting it. The 500 times I did this before this video, I used walls for the entire gate, and I hated how high they had to be, because they were taller than the castle, and the castle is supposed to be like the tallest point, and I didn't like that, so I decided to utilize some debug items. These end up not being the fences I use. I changed them out for a lighter version, still debug items from the cottage living world, though, which is Henford on Bagley. I think these are CC walls, and I go back and I change them to this. Now, I understand these are Tudor style, which wouldn't have been around until probably around the 1600s. But it's The Sims, and you work with what you get. So is it 100% historically accurate? No. But do I like it? Yes. And that's all that really matters. And I tried. So this is going to be like a blacksmith's house hut working area. And the blacksmith forge that you see that I just put in as a room is actually made by Satisem, I think is how you say her username. She does amazing builds. She does amazing things with the tools mod by Twisted Mexi and no CC, and it's beautiful. I highly suggest you watch some of her videos because what she does is so creative and beyond amazing. And this is where the CC comes in. I'm just throwing in some CC I found from the Ye Old Medieval or Medieval off of the Sims resource, and then I found some stuff on CurseForge as well. Yeah, and this is a counter, which I think is really cool because it's a hutch, but it's actually a counter. And I'm just going through. This building does change. It gets a different fireplace. I'm gonna put in a corner CC fireplace here in a minute, but it does get a different pop out chimney and a different fireplace put in. I think still a CC fireplace. I couldn't find any fireplaces I liked, so I ended up downloading some. But still none that I could cook in, which was kind of like my whole purpose. But if you ever download mods, I think or CC, you can kind of get a little lost and you go, ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's that? And you start downloading a bunch, even though you intended only for like 1 or 2 things. Yeah, that totally happened. So here I'm just kind of decorating. Now this is the lower village. It's not in the castle. It is the blacksmith's hut. And to me, that means it doesn't have a lot of fancy things. It would have a chamber pot for them to use the restroom. I put the sink just because the Sims are like ingrained to wash their hands, even though back in the day they wouldn't have washed their hands because they didn't really know about germs. So I put that there just so the Sims aren't walking like all the way to the kitchen to wash their hands. And this broom is really cool. I wish I could remember the creator. The broom, even though I don't have the Dust the Bust, or I think that's the pack it's called. I don't have that pack. But it works on just base game and it's really cool. And here I am working on the gatehouse. This gets many, many facelifts. And then it just becomes very simple. And I got tired of this tedious work with the rocks and I never finished it. So I just deleted all the rocks. I think I kept in me deleting all the rocks. So I have to be in a mood to do tedious work. And I wasn't in the mood. So I ended up deleting them, which is also kind of tedious. I was wanting something on the sidewall. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted. But I definitely wanted something. So this is me just kind of playing around with shapes, I guess, to try and figure out what I wanted. And then I couldn't figure it out. So I went to the other side because I got an idea for putting shops over there. And then of course I gave up on that and tried to make a gatehouse a little higher up. And then I gave up on that and I go back to the shop idea. I am very ADD when I build. So hopefully that's something that will improve with videos, is that it will become more focused. I think it was more ADD just because this build in particular had a lot going on. So I originally envisioned these as being like one being a tavern, one being like a little like baked goods shop. And then I ended up changing them into little huts. And then I envisioned them being for the people that work in the castle. Because there's not like extra rooms in the castle for people who are working there. So to me, like this lower village is their housing and where they live. Again, it's nothing fancy. They look very similar. But I just wanted them to be like have a place to live. So when you had SM cooking or anything like that, you could give them a bed and they'll stay and you don't have to keep like telling them to come back. Or if you have any nights or anything like that, you can give them a place to live. And now this upstairs apartment, I end up turning into that was a weird phrase. I don't remember leaving that in there. Anyway, a like painter's nook. So I envisioned it as like the king and queen would sit for portraits and they would have a painter, a renowned painter, from around the world, come, and only the very best would do their portrait. So my vision was, when he came to do their portraits, he would stay in that top room. Mainly because I plan on making a sim that does portraits of my kings and queens and stuff for us to put in their crypts. So that's kind of where I was going with that. And why the blacksmith has hens, I don't really know. I just put the coop there. He probably won't be the one to take care of them, but yeah, And I have to say, I love these straw rugs from the horse pack. I think they're very useful. I know I've blown them up to make them bigger and use them in different parts. Now I'm looking for an easel, and I did download a Windenburg, like a medieval map. So it makes Windenburg look older, and it's very, very cool. But it deleted the normal easel, so I had to put in the very long, like, unlock sentimental whatever, so that I could get the job easel. But I found one. And here I am just like decorating those tiny huts. And I figured out what I wanted to do over here. I made it where the stocks are. So if you steal something or you do something bad, you get thrown in the stocks, and you're kind of like, people throw tomatoes at you. I don't know if they actually did that back in the day, but in movies they always throw tomatoes at you. So that's kind of what this area is. It's like to shame you, because it was very much like very public when you did something wrong. And now we're going to move the whole castle over, because this debug fence that I used was kind of clipping at a weird, I didn't like it, so I moved it over. And this is where my platform nightmare comes true. No, I'm very happy that we can do different levels and different floors. It was a struggle, because again, it's been a while since I've built in The Sims. So it took me some time, but I figured it out in the end. And there it is. Now, I changed the wall a bunch of times too. Now, the inside of this castle, I tried to really create the great room, which is this bottom floor we're seeing. I tried to really make it look like the inside of the Castle I don't know if it's Dunbroch or Dunbroch. I'm not sure. But I tried to make it look like that. So otherwise, I wouldn't have done these V's at the angle I've done them. And then I had struggles with the back stairs, figuring out the directions. And also, every time I moved the stairs, like, out of that room, they became very, very tall, because my walls are very tall. And so I couldn't adjust them outside of the room, but I couldn't place them back there, and it was a mess. There needs to be like a limbo stage where you can still place the stairs, but they can be red to let you know like they won't use them, just so you can fiddle with like turning the stairs around, and then they turn green when it's good. Something like that would be very helpful, so that you can get the shape, or at least get the stairs in, so you can kind of get them working. But anywho, not a big deal. I eventually got it in the end. I just realized, you know what's funny is, like, this is my third time recording this, because the second time I forgot to turn my volume on, and the first time my mic sounded really bad. I think it already showed the inside, right? How did I do that? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm new to this editing thing. I'm trying, okay? I'm used to doing live streaming, because I was on Twitch. But with 2 kids, I just simply can't be on Twitch. So I figured we could do the YouTube VODs. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so this area is going to be the kitchen. I end up having to change where this door is, because, well, as you can see, the stairs don't like diagonals. And then I tried very hard and was going to use platforms, and then it wasn't working. And then for whatever reason, I tried the other side, and that's not working. You know, the definition of insanity is just to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. But yeah, I end up changing the stairs to the right side, which you'll see here in a second. But it took me, evidently I'm stubborn, and it took me a while to figure out I should just move the darn door. Make my life so much easier. Now, in the movie, I know that they have like an access door to outside somewhere over here. However, I don't have space for it, so I just didn't put it in. Which is fine by me. I don't really mind. And here I am just trying to figure out what cooking, I was going to say cooking utensil, but that wasn't the right word. Cooking stove I wanted to use. Again, I was looking for a fireplace that doubled as a cooking type thing, but I couldn't find it. Funny thing about these stairs, my sim couldn't go into them, so I had to raise the floor, and then my sim could come in, but she couldn't leave. So then I just raised the floor up again, just to make those stairs a little bit shorter. and that seemed to work. But I just thought it was kind of funny that she got into the room just fine, but she couldn't get back out of the room. I was like, well, that's silly. And now I'm making the stairs. So these stairs go from the second floor to the third floor. And there's nothing really on the third floor, but I went ahead and put them in because as the Sims that are living there grow and their family expands, I want them to have the space so I could just easily go up there, throw in a couple walls, and throw some furniture in, opposed to like having to redo the whole castle again. So I'm trying to save myself a little bit more work down the line. And then this is a CC archway that I end up using. And then I'm just going around and putting up those things you see on top of castles. I have no clue what they're called. Not a clue. I think I end up, I paint everything this color and then I change it again. Or at least I think I changed it again. I think I end up changing it to the cottage living walls, which now I'm inspired to not use CC again. Man, I don't know. It's so hard because sometimes CC is like so beautiful. It's so hard. It's a hard decision, but trying to like constantly update stuff is just like a pain in the tushy. So I end up using, the top of the castle does look like this. I used an ornament from YouTube that had like the different angles. So the top of that castle does look like that. However, it is not that yellow. So I go back and I redo it again with different coloring because I hated it. Simple terms, I hated it. And I'm just trying to find the right trim pieces for the tops of the walls because I wanted it to blend in. I didn't want it to stick out. And here we go. So just the lesson here is make sure you have the correct color before you put 100 of these down. And then continue and save. Always save. Every 2 seconds save. When I had a laptop, my game would crash all the time. And on my desktop, it doesn't crash as often, but it has still crashed a little bit. And these are CC windows, but I did specifically look for these windows. These are arrow slit windows, and they are very of the time. This is how they defended their castle. It was kind of at a triangle and downward, so it was easy to shoot down, and hard to shoot into the small slit windows. So they're arrow slit windows, and I found those on the Sims resource page. And upstairs, I end up putting wood floors because I imagine just as you're building with wood, it would be wood floors. I could be wrong here. It could have been lime floors. I just thought it looked nice, so I went with it. And then I end up changing the archway because that one was bothering me. Saving again. Oh, the baby's crying, guys. Raggy. She was just napping. All right, so we're adding in some pillars. I kept trying to put a pillar on that lower platform, but because even when I shrank it down, it wasn't short enough, so it just didn't want to sit there and was popping through the floor, so I couldn't put one there. I changed the bottom floor railing 1,000 times. By the way, if anyone knows how to change the walls besides just putting up a half wall, I guess, might have been what I needed to do. I don't know. It bothers me because it's not like colored or anything. And then I took out all the electric lights and started throwing in candles because this is going to be an off the grid lot. So I made sure everything I was putting in is off the grid. Now, they wouldn't have had a stand, an always in place bathtub. It would have moved about the castle and come out as it was needed. But it's the Sims and it's just easier to place it. Now, in peasant houses, I won't put any bathtubs, which will get kind of gross, but I mean, very realistic, right? And then these, I believe, are by Felix Alexander or Felix Alex. I don't know if I'm saying their username right. And I got it off CurseForge, and it is the Gothic Revival set. Beautiful. He does a bunch of different, or they do a bunch of different packs. And And there's like a chateau one as well that is so pretty. That's where I think I got those pillars for the top of the castle at. Now this is the Great Hall, so naturally it would have tables. This is where they would have had the feast. This is where they would have held court. This is what the room. This is the room that had anything and everything. So I wanted to make it nice and big, I guess. And then this is the kitchen. I put a table there, but then I rethought that decision because I wasn't sure if they could actually prep food on the table. I couldn't remember. So I end up taking the table and moving it to the other side of the room and putting the cabinet that acts as a counter there. And then I'm just throwing some food, CC, like food items that are like medieval food type items around, like the stuffed boar and apples and all this other stuff. And then I love this chest that I end up putting in place of the bags. I messed with these debug bags for a while over in this corner, and I just can't make them work. I've tried it so many times. I try it every time I build something, and I just can't make them work. So I don't know. I need to watch a video on it, I guess. But I love that chest. It's so cute. It's like one of my favorite items. I think it's from Horse Ranch. Not 100%. But I love having the food items around. I think it's fun. I think this is the most decorated room in the castle. Just because I'll throw so many food items there. And then, of course, cracks in the wall, cobwebs, mouse holes. Because they would have had all of those things. And just some CC fireplaces. And I decided to use the one I used downstairs, just shrunk down. And then I do add a bathroom in that room. It's like I forget what they call them, but they're like the side of the castle juts out. And then the toilet, like when you go in it, it will like drop to the ground. I forget what they're called, but it's like that, but it doesn't match the exterior of the castle. It's a lot darker. So I kind of don't show it as much because it bothers me. And this is the horse stable. It is kind of close to the castle, but if you look at the ornament, it's like right next to the castle. So that's where I put it. And in the movie, when she comes out and grabs her horse, it's like right there. So I was like, yeah, okay, we'll put it this close. Why not? I had the space for it. It fit in there. So I just did it. And then, oh, that's like the night fighting thing. It's like a mod or a CC thing. There are hay bales happening. And then vines. I put those vines everywhere. And then more landscaping because why the heck not? Why the heck not? And I don't actually think I videoed it, but I go around and I put like a bunch of grass everywhere too. A bunch of grass. Like not just like the paint type grass, but the Henford on Bagley, like the grass plant thing. You know what I'm talking about, right? And I do use the Horse Ranch, or the horse pack. I forget the name of that pack all the time. Grass, because I think the texture on it looks better. I prefer the texture. So I just put it everywhere. And I did add a basement. You're not gonna see a whole lot of it, but I did do the basement, and that's where the dungeon is. And a bunch of the dungeon items came with the royalty mod. And I also put the crypt down there. And I used there's like a debug item from the cats and dogs pack that I used to make look like the crypts. And then what I want to do is I'll put their urn at the base of it, and then their picture on the wall is like the plan. So that's kind of like the dungeon area. And then I end up extending out, and I make the door a secret door. So that's like a secret library door. And I think that's CC. And then those are the little crypt things I was talking about. And I am going to try and get better about my camera movements, because when you speed it up, they get very like, and it gets kind of crazy. So I do plan on fixing that. So I'm sorry. Sorry if you're getting whiplash. And then this is just the entrance before the Great Hall, and I just kind of want to decorate it and make it look nice. This ends up getting a rug and a cute little bench that is adorable, and I don't think it's CC, or maybe it is, I don't know. This is a problem when you use CC. And then you can't remember what is CC and what's not CC. I'm so sorry. I promise I'll do better in my next builds. I'll try not to use so much. I am excited as the Ultimate Decade so progresses, because then we could come in and we could tear the castle down and we can use some of the ruins and make it look old. And I think it'll be really cool. I'm like, that's one of the things I'm like most excited about, is like coming in and doing that. And here we go. We just place a lot of rocks. And I don't give you too much of that, thankfully. So saves you a little bit, but it looks really cool. It gives it the cliff effect, which is what I was going for. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this video. I got some screenshots for you. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Comment down below, like, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.